Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras. And before we begin, we want to remind you again that for more of the best content from Israel, sign up today for our streaming platform, ILTV+. Now, coming up in today's newscast, Iran firing missiles at the U.S. consulate in Iraq, alleging that secret Israeli bases were their target. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Bennett and Ukrainian President Zelenskiy continuing mediation efforts as the Russian invasion now entering day 18. And finally, the Ukrainian embassy actually suing Israel's Interior Ministry over the cap imposed on the absorption of refugees. Our top news tonight, upwards of a dozen Iranian ballistic missiles fired towards the United States consulate in Iraq Sunday morning, and several reportedly hitting near the building. Meantime, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, or IRGC, effectively claiming responsibility for the attack and alleging that secret Israeli bases were their target. This just days after Syrian state media alleging Israeli attacks near Damascus, Syria, which killed 2 IRGC members. But regardless, Iranian media providing no evidence for their claims of Israeli presence in Iraq, and regional Iraqi officials saying that it's not clear whether the target was actually the U.S. consulate or the nearby airport where a U.S.-led coalition against the Islamic State basing its headquarters. This as several rocket and drone attacks recently launched at U.S. compounds from Iran, and U.S. officials repeatedly warning that Iranian militias will increase the frequency of their attacks. And finally, while the airport was not hit and no injuries were reported anywhere, a nearby local TV station was slightly damaged by the strikes. Kurdish and American authorities condemning the outrageous terrorist attacks. Now, heading back to Ukraine, today marks 18 days since the start of Russia's invasion, and Israel again asked to help in mediating between the two parties. This has Moscow's tactics becoming more aggressive by the hour. For one, aside from ramping up the bombardment of the capital of Kiev, Russia also kidnapping Ukrainian politicians and replacing them with new puppet leaders.
Вчора окупанти захопили в полон мера Мелітополя Івана Федорова. Громада міста вимагає звільнення його. І це дуже важливо. Окупанти повинні бачити, що вони чужі на нашій землі, на всій нашій землі України. І ніколи не будуть прийняті. Впродовж ночі і сьогодні постійно говоримо з партнерами про цю ситуацію з нашим міським головою. Вимога проста – негайно звільнити його з полону. Ми звертаємось до усіх лідерів світу, які говорять з Москвою. Франція, Німеччина, Ізраїль та інші.
Kidnapped by armed men on Friday and charged with terror offenses, the elected mayor of Melitopol now replaced with Russian puppet and former member of the city's opposition, Galina Danilchenko. And though immediately denounced as a traitor, Danilchenko vowing to return city operations to normal, and she'll likely be far from the last Russian plant to assume such a position. President Zelenskiy and other Ukrainian officials then vowing to fight to the last and calling on allied nations to increase their pressure on Moscow, saying that the world must make it clear to Russia that its economy will not survive the war.
What we expect from Israel at the moment, the government to join the sanctions of their alliance, including but not only the US and the European Union. And we do hope that morally the decision would be taken by every single big business in Israel to stop doing any collaboration with the Russian companies.
But aside from sanctions and resistance, President Zelensky still saying that he's in favor for any mediation, adding that Israel can play an important role in such talks. And this after Zelensky and Israeli Prime Minister Bennett speaking Saturday night for over an hour in hopes of setting up such talks in Jerusalem. Likewise, Foreign Minister Yair Lapid urging Russia to cease fire, adding that there's no justification for the invasion. Bennett, however, still avoiding direct condemnations for Moscow, a move that's putting increasing strain on ties with Kiev. To watch full episodes of ILTV's Israel Daily and tons of other content from Israel, Visit our website at iltv.tv or download the ILTV Plus app.